Good morning, Virginia. This is Attorney Anderson. Today's January 11th, 2020. This is going to be your weekly update for what has mostly happened in Richmond this week regarding the new General Assembly procedures, rules, and the bills that are moving through. First things first. We talked about this yesterday, but the Rules Committee for the General Assembly has passed rules that make it illegal to have firearms inside the Capitol building or the Capitol offices. So this does affect you if you are planning on going to Lobby Day and meeting with your delegates or senators. You will not be allowed to have a handgun inside the building. Now, there is no prohibition on the grounds, but you will not be allowed to have a handgun inside the building. And as I predicted in weeks ago when this started coming up, it's like a mall ban. So basically what we're talking about is if you are found to have a handgun, you will be removed from the property. You're not going to be criminally charged with a crime. Now, if you're removed from the property and you resist that, then that can be considered probably criminal trespassing, and then that could escalate up to a criminal issue. But if you do attempt to go into the Capitol building with a handgun, they can remove you from the property. All right, so clearly don't do that. Lobby Day, there are so many things that can go wrong on Lobby Day by one gun owner acting in an irrational way, and then the media is going to pay attention to that guy, and it's going to make all of us look bad. So follow the rules. Don't make a scene about this. So if you're going to be there and you're going to meet with your delegates, do not be armed. Follow the rules that are absolutely within the purview of the General Assembly to make. All right, so part two. Lots of gun bills are going to committees pretty rapidly. A lot of them are going up Monday morning for hearings. So don't be distressed by that. The people that are on the committees are the more radical Democrats. And so sure, they're going to pass, these through committees as quickly as they can, but there are still many soft Democrats that are looking for something different. So do not be distraught by your General Assembly pushing these bills through quickly. You got to keep in mind that they only have 60 days, and that's 60 calendar days, not 60 working days. And by February 10th to 14th in that time period, that's something called crossover. And what happens at crossover is the Senate sends their bills to the House and the House sends their bills to the Senate, and then they start reconciling them. So they do things pretty quickly. This isn't uncommon in Virginia. Things happen very fast. Hundreds and hundreds of bills get voted on in committees in a matter of hours, and it's just a total cluster of madness. And so this is how it works every year, and although it may seem foreign to most of you watching or concerning, this is always how it is. And in my true personal belief, I don't believe that most of the delegates or the senators even read these bills. I don't think they have time to read these bills. It's so much. I think that they heavily rely on their leadership to give them guidance. So that is why it's important for you as a citizen to be writing to them and telling them, hey, we are super concerned about this bill or this bill or this bill. And although they're not reading the emails, their staff are. And I'm sure that their staff are giving them reports that would say, hey, we got 482 emails in today concerning Senate Bill 16. And then that will make them think about it and look at it. So I want to continue to encourage you to be engaging your government. The more you're complaining, the more you're bringing concerns, the more you are making articulate arguments, the better chance we have them to try to capture their attention regarding what's going to happen. Now, Monday morning, multiple bills are going to be in front of committees, gun bills and things like that. And they're probably all going to pass. I'm just going to tell you how it is. They're probably all going to pass. They're probably going to get moved around and amended and all that. That's just going to happen, okay? That's not the end of the world. That doesn't mean they become law. They then, eventually are going to have to get voted on by both chambers. So continue to write. Continue to be, to continue to engage them. It's very important that you do that. So there is another thing that's happening On Tuesday, the compact of electoral states bill is coming forward. So remember how we talked about the electoral college, where they are trying to create this gang of states, mostly Democrat states, that are going to make the electors of each state vote in unison with whatever the national popular vote is. So that's coming up on Tuesday. That's probably going to go through as well. I mean, that's just how it is. Now, if I have any real sense about this bill and talking to some people who really know what they're doing, it sounds like this is a highly challengeable action. Basically, you're going to have 18 or 19 states that are going to have an agreement with each other that however the popular vote of the country goes, that's who they're going to vote for. And once they get to 270, and I think they're at like 196 now, Virginia has 13, so it's getting closer. Once they have 270, it's going to box out the rest of the country. I'm pretty sure that the Constitution would have to be amended to allow that to happen, because it is exactly what they did not want to happen in the Constitution. When James Madison wrote about this in the Federalist Papers, he was very clear that he did not want, and it was not the intention of the Founding Fathers, to allow a group of high voting blocks to be able to decide who the president's going to be, due to corruption, due to other things. And so I think that it's probably going to be a highly challengeable thing, but it's still something that you want to be writing to your delegates about, complaining about, telling them that that is not how you want it to go. The Electoral College needs to stay as it is, where every state has their own thing. Now, if you want to change something about the college, maybe it could be done this way. Winner takes all in Virginia, so we have 13 electors in Virginia. Maybe it should be broken down to where, it's by congressional district. So however many people vote in the 2nd congressional district for Republican or Democrat, then that one vote goes to that person. I would personally like to see that. I don't like this winner takes all thing, just because all the folks in Northern Virginia vote and block the rest of the state out. Then the presidential contest in the whole state looks blue on a map. I would much rather it be, six votes go one way and 7 votes go the other, or whatever it's going to be. Personally, that would be something you could write to your delegates about and say, hey, if you want to fix something, fix that, because Virginia can decide to do that. Make the electors vote by congressional district on the popular vote, not a winner takes all kind of thing. That's how Nebraska does it. That's how Maine does it. But the rest of the states don't do it that way. So that's something you can talk about. Now, last but not least, Worman versus Healey. We've been talking about it a lot. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to re-explain it to you. Go to the YouTube channel, Virginia Law Office, and do the Worman versus Healey search. I've done 3 videos about it. It's a big case. It has the capacity to, funny I say capacity, the ability to eliminate a lot of the gun laws throughout the United States if they agree to take it. Now, the case went to conference yesterday on Friday with the Supreme Court, and CNN reported that they may decide on Monday if they're going to take the case. Now, that's not usually how the Supreme Court works. It's not usually that fast. I was thinking probably sometime by the end of the month we would hear something, or beginning of January or beginning of February, but it might be as soon as Monday. If the Supreme Court agrees to take Worman versus Healey, then we are in the game with the Supreme Court as whether or not we can have high-capacity magazines, whether we can have semi-automatic rifles. It's all going to be before the Supreme Court, and that would be dealt with probably by June. So before the laws kick in here in Virginia, we could see the Supreme Court possibly come down. So we got to keep a real close eye on Worman versus Healey. It's a big deal. And if they agree to take it, we're in the game. If they don't agree to take it, we are, we're not in a good place, that's for sure, because the Fourth Circuit is not on our side on a lot of these issues. So keeping our eye on Worman versus Healey. I'm hoping I can, if Worman versus Healey cert is granted, you're going to see me. I'm going to be outside. I'm going to be dancing, and you'll see that. And if you see me in the office with a solemn look on my face, that means Worman versus Healey was not granted. So it'll be the only time you get to see me dance live on Facebook if they grant cert on Worman versus Healey. All right, guys, that's it. That's the wrap-up for Virginia. I might talk to you about a couple other things, but most important for today, there's a candidate forum meeting that I'm putting together for Hampton tomorrow. That's on the events page of Engage Your Government. If you're interested in that, please sign up. These are people that might be interested in running for council or mayor in Hampton for the May election. So that is on the Engage Your Government section. If you're interested in that or supporting people that are, get on there and sign up for that. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.